I'm here today with my patient Trudy, and I just asked her if she'd be willing to talk a little bit about, first of all, her experience with NIS in our office. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what we worked with and how you've responded to that.
Okay, well, I thought about this question, and the first time I came was years and years ago when I was on the way to the dentist and he sent me to be checked for allergies to medicines. And I had an autoimmune system problem that no one could help. And I said, well, my hands are numb. And within just a few minutes, I had feeling back in my hands, and I left, and I can tell you, they've never been cold since. And I didn't know what happened, and I thought, oh well. So I would come over the years, and I would have a little problem or a cold or something, and I'd check myself in for a little treatment, and then off I'd go. It's like invisible. So I didn't have shots or medicine or surgeries. I had nothing. It just happened. And on my way. But then I'm a person who's pretty in tune with my body, and I hear that when I shouldn't do something, that's probably the truth, but I push through because that's who I am. And I was working too much. My system was getting really weak, and I ended up with breast cancer. And I'm working on my 5th year now. In July, 5 years ago, I had surgery, and I did chemo, and I did radiation. I did it all. And in the middle of chemo, I became really sick to the point where I couldn't function because I'm sensitive to all kinds of medicines. And they said, go to wherever you need to go. And I said, I have to go up and see Dr. Bentz because I can't deal with this anymore. And he helped me regulate enough my system, without me knowing how to explain that, so that I could go on with my treatment. But then at the end of it, I had to take anti-estrogen medicine, and I couldn't do it. Every pill they gave me, I went into anaphylactic shock. I couldn't, there's nothing. So what do you do? It's my life. So I told myself the one thing I could do is go to Dr. Bentz, and I will commit myself once a month, and that will be the equivalent of taking anti-estrogen. So I started on the journey, and I will say the value it to me is undescribable. I live on a very fixed income, and I am willing to pay whatever it costs to come here each month. I drive 2 hours, partly because of traffic. I live in Snohomish, and I look forward to this once a month. Anyway, so we start the treatment. Now, all I wanted him to do was check my body to see if there was cancer creeping back up or something was going wrong. But as it turned out, he kept unfolding. I mean, that wasn't happening. So he'd find this little virus or this, and it's like an onion that he peeled. And all those, I'm 70 in December, and I'm excited about it because it's my new freedom. And so he peeled these layers off, and we got down to places where my stress got controlled, because that just came in every single time. And then there were aches and pains, and there were these different things. And then there was a flat line. And no matter what happened, I was the same every month. I'd come in and I'd have the same type of things happen to me. I could sometimes hardly wait until I got an appointment because I felt so bad. One of the things that the treatment in cancer does is it makes you tired, and you lose your memory, and you kind of feel better as time goes on, but I never came back, and I thought maybe I was just really old now. Then, now can I transition?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so then he said, okay, this is time for cellular detox. I really think that we've hit a place where that will really help you. And that was a commitment I had to take on and decide to do. And I talked to him when he started exploring this, and I just said, everything I read about this, it makes sense, because one of the things we do is we run off on the latest gimmick. Say, you can eat bananas, they're good for you. Don't eat bananas, they're not good for you. So what happens is you don't know like what is, and you are scared every day you're going to die from cancer. And that is something I thought I wouldn't feel, but I did. Anyway, so I said okay to it. Now, one of the things that my system, ever since I met him, I was sensitive to all drugs, all medicines like aspirin. I mean, I take nothing, no vitamins, nothing. And I was food sensitive too, but I knew about controlling my diet, but it's invisible. So if you eat that cookie, it's an okay thing. But I said to myself, I will do this 100%. And so last February, I started. And I'm going to tell you straight out, the process was not what I thought. It wasn't magical. It was a journey that I had to commit to, and it wasn't easy for me because every time I started a new phase, the first phase, you're going to feel so great. I don't feel good because I can't take medicines. And it started working on me, and yet nothing changed around me, and it's invisible. But I'd call, and Maddie would say, yes, you can do this, keep it up, it's okay, and I'm thinking, I don't think this is okay. And then I went to the second phase, and it was okay, but it was still hard, and sometimes I had to take rests in between because my body couldn't it has its own clock, and that's the clock that I learned about in this process. Okay, I quit eating sugar. That was, for me, a downfall. I love tea parties, cookies, and the whole thing, and I have not had any sugar since February.
Wow.
I feel so fabulous. No heart things, no this thing, no nothing. I have quit, and I never want it again. So anyway, back to, okay, now we're on phase 2. Phase 2 I'm almost done with. Well, what I found now I've done 2 phases, is the beginning of the phase, it didn't work good for me. But by the end of the phase, no big deal. I could do it. So I saw that those phases were each working. But the third phase was the brain phase. And everyone, you are gonna, it's the cat's meow. Well, not really. For me, it was like a commitment to doing it and staying on task and calling and helping. And then things start, because you can't see anything.
Right.
You can't see anything, nothing changes, it's invisible. And then all of a sudden, I could like remember everything. I could think fast again. I was starting to get this energy that, like, I'm a high energy person. It's back. And I actually would come for a couple months and say, I don't really know how to deal. Is this energy good? Is this good? Because I had not had it for years. It had been declining with my self-deterioration. So as he got the chemicals out, the mercury out, all the different toxins that were in my brain, I felt that change. And then I was tired though, and I had to let my body heal as I went through each process. And all my children, all my grandchildren, I live on a farm, everybody was there for the summer. And it was really hard because there were days I needed to kind of just take it easy, and they pushed me. And I decided not to complain and say, oh, poor me, I'm on this. I was like, I'm on this because I'm getting better. So anyway, then I made it into what I call the vitamin phase. That's the, detox is over and this is a building up. That's how I understood it. And I loved it. and I still have some of those left because I didn't need them every single day. And they gave me more energy than I really knew what to do with. Because one of the things I found in my life's habits and behaviors was sleep was important, water is important, and eating right is important. And because I joined this journey, and I called it a spa experience because I was taking care of myself as a woman for the first time in my life. And I have the opportunity for a fabulous life. And so that's my journey. But I will say that one day, and you know that feeling when you really need a cookie because things aren't right. I was not looking for a cookie. I was looking for an avocado or some butter. And so there I am. I am a fat burner.
Yes,
So
I love it.
So I am so grateful. There's no words to describe it. And it's going to give me my 70s wild and crazy.
I love it. That's so wonderful, Trudy. I mean, it's been such a joy to watch you on this journey and see the changes you've gone through, and to see you now compared to a couple of years ago, it's like night and day. And so again, it just goes to show that if we give the body what it needs, it'll respond, right? It'll do better. And you just told me this morning you're building a pizza oven outdoors?
I am building a cob stove oven. Now this started, I went to Cyprus, my daughter lives in the Mediterranean, and I saw them cooking these ovens, and I thought, oh, that's really cool. But then I didn't know I could build one myself. And then it was 5 years ago, I went to, with my youngest daughter, to a goat meeting up in Bow, and this man had built one, and he was just finishing it, and I thought, I can do it. So it's all about salvaging sand and all bricks and all these things, and I've got it, and I'm building it.
I love it.
And so
that's great.
Anyway,
how wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate you sharing this with us today.
Well, thank you, and I just challenge everyone to take care of themselves. I mean, I can see where people really could get help here, and they poo-hoo it to old ways, and that's the most frustrating thing.
Thank you so much.